Good day, everyone. My name is John Daniel CAP-ATAN, MS Environmental Science, and I would like to share to you the research initiative in Cavite, the Seagrass Exploration in Cavite, a research initiatives in the province of Cavite in partnership with Cavite State University. So for the introduction, before, there's no seagrass in Cavite. People already claim that no seagrass in Cavite, no data, zero research, and even the local community in the coastal areas, they have never really seen the presence of seagrass in the coastal waters. Right? But um, because of this map, this is the coastal resource map of Cavite. This is actually the beginning of the initiatives of the researchers in CVSQ in terms of seagrass. From this legend, the green color represents the possible vegetation of seagrass or seaweeds in areas. No? Now, because of this map, the Penro Cavite and researchers from CVSU had the interest to validate the presence of seagrass in Cavite. So the possible seagrass area can be located here in the coastal waters of Ternate and Maragondon. Okay? And last February 7, 2020, the first seagrass exploration conducted on the coastal waters of Ternate, Cavite. This exploration is a collaboration between the Philippine Coast Guard, Penro Cavite, faculty researchers, and students of BS Environmental Science of Cavite State University. So they use the Mantato technique to look the vegetation area of seagrass at a constant speed behind a small boat using a rope and a manta board. But unfortunately, they have not seen any seagrass in the area. Okay. But last February 17, 2020, the second seagrass exploration was conducted on the coastal areas of Maragondon, Cavite. And then they have found dead seagrass leaves on the shore, and then they immediately find the area of vegetation of seagrass together with the officials of the Coastal Conservation Unit of Penro, Cavite. And initially, they have identified two genera, which is the Thalassia and Halophila. This is another research initiative of Cavite. This study was conducted by the students and faculty of Department of Forestry and Environmental Science in CBSU entitled Transplantation of Seagrass, specifically in Halus acoroides, to the coastal area of Ternate, Cavite. This is the first seagrass transplantation, and this is the transplanted species, the Enhalus acoroides. This is widely distributed around the world, and they are characterized by having a long leaves. So this is the mature Enhalus acoroides, and this is the juvenile ones. Now this is the results of the study. The researchers compared the physicochemical characteristic of the donor site and the transplantation site in terms of pH, TDS, temperature, salinity, and soil texture. These parameters are very important for the growth of seagrass. So as you can see, there is no significant difference between the donor and transplantation site. The donor is in Maragondon, and the transplantation site is in Ternate. Okay. So in short, the growth of seagrass is possible. These are the results of two trials of transplantation. In the first trial, 40 seagrass has been transplanted, and these species of Enhalus acoroides are the juvenile ones. Okay? And as you can see, the number of seagrass survived and survival rate is 0. The researchers found out that the problem here is the growth stage of the seagrass, since the species that they have been transplanted are the juvenile ones. And they also considered that the tides on the transplantation site, because what really happened during low tide is totally extreme low tide, wherein there is no water left on the surface of the transplantation site. That's why it has a zero survival rate. But after what happened on the previous trial, the researchers chose another transplantation site. They transplanted 52 seagrass, but this time they used the matured seagrass. And fortunately, there are 25 species of Inhalus acroides who survive and has a 48% survival rate. But sadly, due to different quarantine restrictions last 2020, the researchers are not able to monitor the transplanted seagrass. And last September 2020, there were only 12 transplanted seagrass left, and the researchers, of course, are still hoping na dumami pa. Okay. Another research initiative of Cavite is the vegetation analysis and mapping of seagrass in Maragondon coastal waters, Cavite, Philippines, a basis for proposed management plan. This project will also be in line with CVSU's commitment to the Partnership in Environmental Management for the Seas of East Asia, or PEMC, on being a learning center for integrated coastal management. The result of the study will be essential in the implementation of ICM in the province. These are the objective of the study. Determine the diversity and abundance of seagrass in the Maragondon coastal waters. Determine the percent seagrass cover and map the seagrass ecosystem in the Maragondon coastal waters. So for the methods, um, quadrat sampling were conducted. A 50-meter transect line will be placed on the start of the seagrass area parallel to the shore, and another 50-meter transect line will place parallel to the first transect. A 0.5 by 0.5 meter quadrat will be used to determine the count and identify the present seagrass species inside the quadrat. So species diversity and abundance were computed using the Shannon-Weiner Diversity Index, and geographic information system was used to generate maps of seagrass location in the area. For the results of the study, there were 3 identified species of seagrass in all the transect lines, namely Halophila ovalis, Thalassia hempechi, and Halodule uninervis. Species in the third transect are more diverse compared to transect 1 and transect 2, since the 3 identified species can be found in the third transect line. Moreover, Thalassia hempechi is the most abundant species among the 2 other species, since it is present in all the transect lines. For the species diversity index, or diversity and evenness, the most diverse is the third transect, since the 3 species were all present. The first transect has the highest number of individuals of all the species identified, with an average population size of 99 individuals per transect. This is the percent cover of seagrass, ranging from 32% to 42%, while the macroalgal and epiphyte cover ranging from 12.7% to 32% and 15% to 53.6%. So the red line here is the seagrass area in Maragondon coastal water. This is the Patungan beach, or the Patungan Cove. This is the seagrass area in Maragondon. Another research initiative of Cavite in terms of seagrass is the current study of our students in Cavite State University, titled XC2 Propagation and Transplantation of Seagrass, specifically Inhalus acroides again, to the coastal area of Maragondon, Cavite, Philippines. The objectives of the study is to determine the physicochemical characteristic of potential site for seagrass transplantation in terms of soil texture, pH, turbidity, temperature, and salinity. Determine the germination rate of the seagrass seeds planted in different substrates, such as artificial sand, soil substrate from the coastal area of Maragondon, Cavite, Determine the growth rate of the seagrass seeds planted in different substrates. Artificial sand, substrate from coastal area of Maragondon, in terms of nodes, leaves, and stem. Number 4, monitor the survival rate of the transplanted cultured seagrass at the coastal area of Maragondon, Cavite, and formulate a strategic plan to be proposed for seagrass ex situ propagation and transplantation to the coastal communities in Maragondon, Cavite. For the methods of the study, this is the donor site of the study. This area in Barangay Gulod, Calatagan, Batangas has an existing seagrass meadows and has a similar biophysical characteristic since similar to the transplantation site, since both sites are located in the boundaries of Cavite and Batangas. And this is the transplantation site located at Barangay Santa Mercedes, Maragondon, Cavite. So for the specific methods, physicochemical assessment or the physical characteristic of the selected sites will be assessed to determine the relative difference and similarities of systems from the donor site where seagrass sampled were obtained, which is essential for the seagrass growth. In ex situ propagation of seagrass, it will determine the germination and growth rate of the species. Transplantation of seagrass, monitoring of seagrass will determine the survival rate of the species. And lastly, crafting of proposal strategic plan for the seagrass. That would be all, and thank you so much for listening.